Hi, my name is Rebecca Aubrey. I am a sixth grade Spanish teacher at Timothy Edwards Middle School in South Windsor, and I'm also proud to serve as president of CT COLT. Some of the recent tips of the week have led me to reflect on my own processes for offering students feedback in an efficient way that supports them in self-reflecting on their work and setting their own goals as we move forward. So for me, one of the first most important things to do is to develop a shared understanding of what language proficiency is and what students are able to do at different levels and what they aren't able to do yet. We also work on embracing the fact that every student is a different place and learns at a different pace. When we talk about language proficiency, we typically have those conversations in English as we talk to set goals and monitor their growth, largely because my novice level students don't yet have the language to do that kind of self-reflecting in Spanish. So first, we begin by developing a common understanding of what proficiency is. And for that, we use a district-wide rubric that breaks the proficiency levels down by sub-levels, and we focus on what I can talk about at each level, sub-level, what kind of language can I use, how well can I be understood, and how well can I understand. One of the activities I do at the beginning of the year with my students is this puzzle where they kind of have to manipulate the descriptors of the different sub-levels and indicators. The example you see here is in a Jamboard. I've also created it with actual paper that they can manipulate, but really reading them and processing them helps them to think about what the indicators mean and what are the distinctions between the different sub-levels. So it begins to develop their awareness of how to grow. When they do their work, I always provide them with feedback in the form of glows and grows that focus on their proficiency growth. So not things like grammar corrections or talking about, verb conjugations, but instead identifying really what they're doing very well in terms of their language proficiency growth and what's a strategy for them to work on to continue to grow. And a lot of those, that work, two people who do some really good work, and that are Stephanie Carbonneau and Rebecca Blowolf. I invite you to check out their websites for some more information on some of the strategies that they share. So here's an example you see here with Allie. I gave her some compliments on using the memorized phrases to talk about the topic, and the fact that she was even stepping into some elaboration and trying some language creation, doing some questioning techniques, and then offering Allie some strategies for how she can continue to grow her proficiency by continuing to work in that zone so she can do it across levels, across topics, but also, encouraging her to continue to take risks with language creation. This is another way we've helped students to self-reflect, and this is quite simply just in a Google form. We found that at the beginning of teaching students to self-reflect on their proficiency, having something really structured really helps. And so this Google form gives them indicators to choose from. So it really helps them to focus on what we're looking for at each level. Because otherwise I'll often get students who will say things simply like, I did a really good job of talking in Spanish, or I'm really good at participating in class, which are all great strengths, but they're not necessarily strengths that focus on their proficiency growth. I like to conference regularly with my students to monitor their progress and to set goals as we move forward. This is a little picture of my conferencing corner. You see I have my two chairs, the table that we sit around, and we sit right in front of a bulletin board that shows the different sub-levels of novice as well as entering into the intermediate level. And I like having that board right there because as I'm talking to students and they're asking me questions or I'm trying to help drive a point home, we have that reference to look at right there. And I also like that they can see what they are shooting for, that intermediate mid-level, in order to earn the seal of biliteracy. I also spend some time with my students talking about the sanctity of that conferencing time. And so you're probably wondering what the dinosaur picture is there in the background. This is something I got from observing elementary teachers who talk about the importance of not interrupting a teacher when he or she is talking to another student. So this is something my students and I talk about. And the joke is they cannot interrupt me unless there's a dinosaur attacking our school, they have brought me a mochaccino from Starbucks, or I have won the lottery. Instead, they should wait until I'm in between conferences so they're not interrupting that special one-on-one time I have with one of their peers. When I conference with students, we talk about three things. What's one thing that you think is going really well for you? What is something you want to work on moving forward? And what do you need from me to help you meet your goals? When I sit with my students, this year we're using a paper that you can again see has this same language from the rubrics looking at what they're able to talk about, how they can talk about it, and how well they can understand. So the first time I filled it out together with my students. The second time I asked them to fill it out before they came to me. And I'm always really impressed to see that about 99% of the time, students are spot on. And so they come over and they show me what they've checked off. And when I look at my spreadsheet of data, it correlates perfectly. They're really, because they've had so much discussion around what it looks like at different proficiency levels, by this point of the year, they're really good at identifying what they are doing well. We take that information to kind of identify what proficiency sublevel they're performing at and offer some strategies for how they can continue to level up. So these are just some of the things that have been working really well for me in my classroom, and I hope you find something useful here. Thank you. Bye.